come to the Zambian Italian Cultural Center because we have a beautiful exhibition of art pieces of Zambian artists who work exactly in this way, using recycled materials to do their art pieces. So artists, Zambian artists, who are perfectly aware of the importance to use, again, materials that have been used for other purposes. I want to immediately thank very much for this third day our dear friend, Professor William Miko, our dear friend William Miko from Open University of Zambia. William is a famous Zambian artist. He's the deputy director of the Lecce Trust Art Gallery here in Lusaka. And we worked with the gallery, with the Lecce Trust, to bring here these art pieces. William is a great artist, as I was saying. He's also a curator, and he helped us to organize this exhibition. And he helped the Italian embassy for other many projects. So I say that William is Zambian, but he's a global artist. So he's also Italian because he loves Italy so much, he knows Italy so much. So he has many nationalities, and you cannot really define him. But I'm really pleased today to give him an award from the Republic of Italy for his support to the projects of the Italian embassy. He will be appointed as Knight of the Italian Star, which is a decoration given by the President of the Republic of Italy to people who have been distinguishing themselves for their support to Italy and to the strengthening of the relations with Italy. This day, and we will have the lecture of William on the subject When Trash Becomes Art, together with his colleagues, two more colleagues, will mark the end of this 3 days festival that has been very important for us because we organized an event articulated on 3 days, and we approached the importance of protecting environment through a very specific field, which is waste management, sustainable waste management, and recycling processes of materials, of used materials. It's a very important subject because we all know that it is fundamental to protect our environment, but then we have to know and raise our awareness on how to do so. And in this festival, we involved the public institutions, the government, the companies, the United Nations Development Program, the European Union. We also involved families and in particular children yesterday with a beautiful day dedicated to them to start involving the young generations since childhood on this important aspect, so we can raise awareness also from the beginning of their life. I also, I am very pleased that today we have with us a special guest who is my dear friend the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Local Government of Zambia, Permanent Secretary Matthew Ngulube, who is here with us. He was in the program on the first day, the day for institutions, but he was busy with another engagement work. So he was so kind and so friendly to join us today. So I will now give the floor to the Permanent Secretary for his contribution. And after that, we will pass the floor to William for his lecture. I want to thank you very much. I remind that all our events are recorded. All our events are available on our YouTube channel. And please continue to follow us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. All right. His Excellency, the Italian Ambassador to Zambia, representative of the Ministry of Water Development, Sanitation, and Environmental Protection, representatives of the Ministry of Youth present, the UNDP country representative, the EU ambassador or the representative, invited guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I think before I go into my speech, I'd like to thank you, Your Excellency, for inviting me. Like I said, I would have been here from the first day. I think there were a number of programs that kept me busy and away from here. But I thought it's very important for me to come and interact with you on this very important subject. I wish to express my sincere gratitude to the Italian ambassador for hosting us this afternoon. This week, we have experienced the best innovations in solid waste management, particularly the concept of the 3 R's, that is reducing, reusing, and recycling. On day one, from the government of Zambia's side, my director represented me, Your Excellency, when presenting the main needs, challenges, and opportunities we have as government in the solid waste management sector. The Director General of Zambia Environmental Management Agency also spoke on the principles and needs towards the environmental protection. Our Honorable Minister of Water Environmental Protection opened with the broad aspirations of government in this sector. Further speakers from the European Union, United Nations Development Programme, and others spoke, and we all agree that trash can actually be cash. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday it was a family day. I understand families, especially young people, came here to see and hear some of the innovations that can be done to reduce, reuse, and recycle waste, even at household level. Today, we've seen exhibitions of art from recycled waste. We've seen excellent work at the hands of our various artists who worked to bring out masterpieces out of waste. There's no better example to demonstrate the fact that solid waste is a resource. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to reiterate that government through its various agencies is committed to implement many different approaches in our communities and all levels of government to achieve goals of protecting public health and the environment while improving our livelihoods. Let me state here that tomorrow being the last Saturday of the month, let everyone join the councils as they lead communities in cleaning up our surroundings and keeping Zambia clean, green, and healthy. For Lusaka, these activities will be taking place in all the constituencies. Your Excellency, I've actually added this because that's where the trash will come from our homes, and it's really amazing to know that we can clean, take the trash to the designated dump sites, and then it comes back as art, and it creates livelihood for a number of people. Lastly, I wish to thank the Italian government for the 3 days program, the various private sector players and individuals involved in making our communities better, the artists and the other cooperating partners for supporting various ventures. To all, I say thank you and continue applying yourselves even as we work towards making better communities for ourselves. We look forward to more cooperation. Thank you so much. Enjoy the evening and God bless you all.
Good afternoon. My name is William Waliamiko, as the ambassador introduced me. Though he gave me a prefix of professor, I'm not yet professor, but I hope one day I'll be still Mr. Miko, heading a department of fine arts at the Zambian Open University, where we introduced the first fine arts degree course, a 4-year course in Zambia. Now, I would like to thank the Italian embassy for being so passionate about the promotion of the arts. And the issue of trash seems to be as problematic for our communities as other, issues that we may want to address immediately. In particular, to be able to guide the generation that is coming after behind us. I prepared a few slides through which I'm going to speak, and thereafter, when the embassy approached me to do this lecture, I thought that it wouldn't be complete without digressing it to other aspects. Importantly, in this aspect, my two panelists who are going to come and discuss is our first trained Zambian historian, Andrew Mlenga, who has just finished his PhD at Rhodes University in South Africa. Is going to give an aspect of a little more detailed work that creative Zambians do in the arts. Therefore, that will follow by one of our great artists, a trained journalist, who is my former college mate as well, Alexis Piri, who has been driving a movement of art called Funta Funta. For those who don't know Funta Funta, it means mad person-like. And that's the way society sometimes perceives those of us who tried to extend and see things that are not there and recreate them. He has been very significant in creating public art. So, part of it is what you have seen at Long Acres, the Rhino, using trash. And he went on to, again, create more significant work out of trash in Livingstone, where they created an elephant. So basically, I'll start with my first slide. And my first slide is a slide that is addressing more or less what I am questioning myself about what has become of our society. And that is, I've broken the issue of trash into two things, rural and urban. And the problem of trash in the cities seems to be not prevalent in the villages. And as a people who are living in the cities today, I take it that we are maybe transposed from our natural habitat into the space which we are failing to manage, because I've never been to a Zambian village which is got a trash problem. It's always the city's problem. Next slide. Even when the habitat in the rural area is as minimum structures like the one that we are looking at now, you can see the surrounding. There isn't garbage there. It's all clean. It's all surrounded by a clean environment, which means that the people living there, they know how to manage trash. Now, why are we not doing this? So I'll move to the next slide. You can see there isn't trash. Even when we manage to build houses in the rural areas and put iron sheets on, the surrounding is always kept very clean. Now, I'll bring you to what obtains in the city. I tried to go around, and this particular slide comes from Bowlen. Typically, when you go, in fact, this I'm echoing what the permanent secretary has alluded to. You see, the streets could be as clean as this one. And in the rain season, you'll be so surprised to find that after the rains, the whole place looks like there was a hurricane that had hit the place. One time, just this ending rain season, I drove to Kaunda Square, one of our early compounds that was built in the 70s, quite highly populated. And I saw so much trash, I thought there was a hurricane, but there wasn't a hurricane. What is happening now, which many people are not aware of, there is a trend that is developing where people keep trash in their houses, they wait for the rain, then they throw it when it starts raining so that the rain can carry the trash to wherever they wish that to go. And you find the furrows are blocked, you know? So I'm questioning myself that the issue of trash management, are we really doing something about it, or we are just sugarcoating it? You can see that the trash that we have in our localities, in particular in places we call compounds, is transported to just across the road, which is like 5 meters where it gets dumped. It's either transported by trucks, next, or it's transported in wheelbarrows, and it gets heaped everywhere you look. There is trash. The trash sites or dump sites have become now like the next, the playground for our children. Even when they are going to school, or they choose to pick things to play with, toys, they go to the trash. Is this right? That's what I'm questioning. Next slide. You can see it's boys and girls on the trash, which means that they are growing up thinking that throwing things in this manner is normal, but it's not normal at all. You can see here is a boy. I don't know if this is one is a boy. Back. You see school children. Yeah, in this particular slide, you can see this is a boy who's coming from school with a school bag. And I'm questioning the curriculum also. Where is coming from? Has he learned anything about the management of trash? Should we perhaps consider ourselves as a generation that has missed it? And then kids of this size should be taught how to manage garbage. You can see he's passing there, and the person who's coming in front of this school child is eating a sugarcane, something that looks like a sugarcane, at a trash area, which to me makes it more or less like, well, this is a normal environment for us. Next slide. How much of trash management do we have in our curriculum from primary school, secondary school, even university? Now, this is where the artist comes from. This particular piece is here in this room. This is papier-mâché, the same thrown away paper that has been transformed by David Makala into bricks. They may just be objects of aesthetic value, but they do not give us the same feeling that we get when we look at that rubbish. That's just paper bricks. I don't know what else is going to do with, but here in the room as it is arranged, it is kind of provoking our minds. If you look around the room, you're going to see this. These 3 pieces here, the bricks you can see there, we just arranged them like we are building. And that is a metaphor for the effort that we should do in the management of the arts, to be able to say, can we start piecing together our awareness like building blocks and question how to manage this, trash. You can see on the left there is a Christmas tree. Those are just bottles of drinks, ordinary drinks, plastics which have been cut and made into a Christmas tree. Isn't that great? On the left is a Christmas tree also. This is a piece of a house made by a child here at the Italian school. And it's purely cardboard, which could have been thrown away. But I'm sure each and every person who's looking at this piece will say, oh, wow, if a child can even transform this, it does no longer appear to be trash, because already you don't know how this child is going to end up. He or she could be an architect, you know? And that gives them consciousness to be able to manage and look at trash as something that should not just be left to the wind to blow it in any direction, the wind is going. And it's here in the room. This is Yande Yombwe, a young upcoming artist who also works with found objects and material. The figure in the center there, the hair style, those are our groundnuts, our peanuts shells. We eat the inside, we throw away, and the artist finds a way of reusing that material into something that would be aesthetic. That's a Zambian family interpretation there. There's a close-up of the Christmas tree. And here comes now a guitar. Now, for me, this guitar is also another metaphor. This issue of trash management, it becomes now like a song. Are we singing this song? This is a guitar by Shakulipa, made out of bicycle parts. But you can see it's standing outside the hall there. Everyone is admiring it. But if these pieces of metal were left to lie around, there will be more trash. But now it's a metaphor for it's a guitar shape and a metaphor for the song that we have been singing. Are we asking ourselves that, look, this is not happening. We should be an ostrich to this problem of managing the trash and bury our heads in the ground. This piece is an ostrich standing outside there by Owen Scavetta. And you can see that the ostrich doesn't have the head because it has buried the head in the ground. That is an interpretation of an artist. Are we burying our heads in the ground for us to shy away from doing this? I end here.
Okay. My name is Andrew Mulenga. I'm an art historian and lecturer in the fine art department at the Zambian Open University. So I'll be talking about the creative ways in which Zambian artists use trash. But then I think it's important to mention that this is not a new thing. Because Zambian artists, I think, have been using trash, particularly scrap metal, since you can trace it back to the maybe late 70s or early 80s with Henry Tayari's bull sculpture, like the one on the Greatest Road, or is it the Airport Road? There's another one in Chaminuka. There's a lot of work also by the late Friday Tembo, who was based in Linda Compound. He used to use a lot of scrap metal and found objects. There's Martin Piri, also, who was famous for using scrap metal. Some of his most interesting pieces were actually made from vehicles that were bombed during the Rhodesia raids, I think in the late 70s, somewhere there. Today, you've got the likes of Rabson Piri, who is with us in here. I think some of his work is here as well. Joseph Shakuripa, so many of them. But today, I'll just be sharing the work of one artist in particular, although I think I'll enter it through something which I believe is very important and has to be spoken about. This is electronic waste. So e-waste, also known as electronic waste, is any kind of waste containing electronic circuits or electrically powered components, often containing relatively expensive and durable products, as well as harmful materials such as CFC foams. E-waste includes computers, LCD screens, cooling appliances, mobile phones, and other consumer electronics. You know, we're living in a digital age where we use all these batteries, cell phones. We tend to throw them away, not considering the harm that these might be causing to the planet. And I'll share some research. Which was conducted by Dr. Dylan McGarry from Rhodes University. During the 2018 National Arts Festival in South Africa, he did a performance piece with a group of artists in conjunction with the Arts of Africa and Global South, based at Rhodes University. And the e-waste funeral, which was attended by more than 30 mourners, many dressed in black, was the culmination of a week-long social sculpture project run by the Environmental Learning Research Center at Rhodes University. So, organized by Dylan McGarry, the event was to start conversations about the e-waste crisis facing the world and African continent in particular. E-waste is notoriously difficult to dispose of or recycle safely, containing toxic substances, like I mentioned earlier. So McGarry, he asserts that every year up to 50 million tons of e-waste is generated globally, ranging from cell phones to toasters and other appliances. Africa is currently responsible for an estimated 1.9 million tons of the total per year. But it's growing. So yeah, there is a concern that the African continent will also become a major recipient or burial ground for the world's discarded electronic products. It seems like the future of Africa has a lot to do with the future of how we decide to bury our electronic artifacts. So now, during this e-waste funeral, the performance at the National Arts Festival in South Africa, we had 3 Zambian artists present who were part of this, namely Starry Mwaba, Gladys Karichini, and Aaron Samuel Mulenga, who were all doing their master's degrees at the time. So at the end of it all, some of their work was displayed in an exhibition entitled Convergence, which was at the Royal Sport Gallery at Rhodes University. So you see, tires burn in the background. There's a boy at the world's largest e-dump in Ghana, repeatedly smashes a TV into the ground to break it open. So you see, this is an example of, some of the sites on the African continent are just specifically, it's electronic waste. Which leads us now to a Zambian artist, a young artist named Roy Jethro Piri. I first met him in 2013 in Livingstone during the UNWTO when he was still a pupil then. And he lives and works in Livingstone. He graduated from St. Raphael's Secondary School in 2013, at which time he had already started out as an apprentice at the YY Art Studio and Gallery, run by Agnes and Lawrence Yombo. So the gallery organizes short workshops to teach various artistic skills and art clubs for children with an overarching theme around conservation and recycling. This is Agnes and Lawrence at their gallery where Roy did his apprenticeship. And in the background, you can see they're standing in front of they have a shed, a recycling shed, where they specifically separate things that they pick from around the neighborhood, the community, garbage dumps, and then they separate them: plastic alone, glass, and then they repurpose these to create artwork. Yeah, so nothing is valueless. You can see Roy here on his little table using bits and pieces of stuff that he picks up from garbage sites around. And Roy asserts that he is not really a political person. However, speaking through his work, he is conveying a message that there is nothing valueless, and that he was concerned about the well-being of the planet and how it could end up if it's not cleaned up and taken care of. Piri's interest in environmental conservation is what guides his selection of material. He is very emphatic on his concern for the environment and reflects this in his choice of material, which at times can be minuscule scraps of electronic stuff that he intricately pieces together after sifting through hordes of garbage that he recycles. So, according to Piri, an interview that I had with him, he says, what guides my selection of materials is the search for compatibility. Like, what can its scrap become that will make it creative and beneficial, as well as beautiful to look at? And of course, I just want to be able to turn just about everything I find into something new and valuable, to give it a new purpose instead of leaving it to become an addition to the pollution on my planet, to go green and to help in protecting my planet from decay. I believe we can use everything we throw away for a much better purpose if we just get our heads straight and think in that direction. I think telling and proving to people that using what is thrown away and turning it into something valuable once more can make them money, maybe then they will wake up. People in Chipata, for example, collect empty chibuku packs and make roofs out of them. Bottles and can be used to make beautiful chandeliers, portraits, houses, and much more. So I'm driven to clean up my planet, says Piri. So these are a few examples of his work. He's into miniature sculptures, and much of his work is influenced also by science fiction. He's into science fiction movies and video games, and also likes motorcycles and cars. So when he picks up his little bits of scrap metal, he pieces these together and comes out with work like this. So now, Piri's repurposing of e-waste speaks to an ongoing concern regarding Africa becoming a global dump site for the dumping of such garbage, like I mentioned earlier. But then, fine, so we've deduced that Piri, in his own little way, is doing his bit to save the planet, as he says, through picking garbage and repurposing it to create art. But then, is there something deeper that we can see in his work if we look at it? This, of course, is not Piri's work, but these are examples of the Nyau, from the Chewa people. So the Nyau is used to describe a number of traditional masked performances or masquerades in Southern Africa. And the Chewa masquerades or masks like these at the Kulamba ceremony in Eastern Province, it's part of an initiation ceremony. So the Nyau also inspire, let me just talk a bit more about the Nyau. So this is according to, how do we move this? Go back. Mhm. Because some of it is covered. Okay. Yeah. So now, even before being banned by the Northern Rhodesian government in what is now Zambia, Nyau had been in open conflict with early missionary groups. So the struggle between Nyau and the missions in Malawi, for instance, has been well documented. This is according to W.B. Smith for an article that he had written in the African Archaeological Review. So the missions in both countries, that's Malawi and Zambia, were amongst the strongest voices encouraging the colonial government to ban Nyau. The missions and Nyau openly competed for the hearts and minds of the youth, each trying to outdo the other by taking boys at the increasingly young age, while missionaries sought to win the hearts of the children at mission schools before Nyau could demonize them. Nyau leaders tried to see that boys became included within Chewa society before they were turned against traditional matters and polluted by Christianity. The missions utterly failed to eradicate Nyau, but in some places they forced it away from their immediate environments. So you see, the Nyau character again can be read as this subversive character, a rebellious character, you know, against, of course, the forces of colonialism, if you like. So now, these are now creations by, this is some of Piri's recent work, where again, he references the Nyau, but now he makes a mishmash of, you know, there's the Transformers, which is an American blockbuster science fiction movie. So he references that and then works around ideas around the Nyau. And if one were allowed to stretch the imagination, his series, then the Nyau Masquerade Transformers would be well placed as protagonists fighting the domination of Africa from colonialists or outsiders. Heroes safeguarding African culture values in the Nyau have historically been rebellious by nature, as I stated earlier. So this is one reading of Piri's work, if you want to look at it in depth, and not just as him repurposing scrap. So then if we have examined the possible implications of a young African articulating thoughts of the future using his own resourcefulness, then we've looked, I think, at his select works and observed how he articulates ideas as well as his materiality, you know, his use of garbage or his repurposing of garbage. And these have both demonstrated explorations of the future in his thoughts, and ideas have collectively manifested through his robotic sculptures. I think I've briefly discussed how these how this artist, in relative isolation, has incorporated concepts of technological advancement and disrupting uncomfortable identities that regard Africa obviously as backwards. You saw that conflict between the missionaries and the Nyau. So I think what we have hopefully done here is, in a very small way, is to prompt a discussion around the inventiveness of Zambian artists with regard to the potential of using trash for limitless imaginative exploration around spirituality even, and African knowledge systems in relation to the future. The artist processes his imagination as a vehicle to examine, represent the plurality of existence across African space and time by asking questions about who Africans were, who they are today, and who they will be in the future. So then let me introduce Alexis Piri from Kachere Art Studio, who will be our next speaker. Alexis Piri, I mean, he's been a legend as far as even wildlife conservation is concerned, or sensitizing people in terms of garbage and, So, but something interesting that I think we may always, or we tend to forget about Alexis Piri is that he has been an activist, I think his entire life. I must have been in primary school when he was a journalism student, and he walked from the Copper Belt along with two of his colleagues, probably Bright Mwape and the late Joey Mwinga, some of the best journalists Zambia has ever produced. So when they were students, they walked from the Copper Belt to Lusaka, in protest of Nelson Mandela's imprisonment. So it was a free Mandela protest. So he's been active in so many ways. But now I'm talking about him today in terms of recycling and so on. So besides the Tibiriwire, Let's Go Green, Funta Funta Rhino, and Nyami Nyami and Green Eri projects, his team was also part of the COP17 African Caravan of Hope in 2011. So along with other ecological activists and who were very militant during the Durban conference, trying to break down the conference jargon into simpler terms and so that the average person on the street could understand. So this was, I think, Alexis Piri's Tipidiwile Let's Go Green project, where they went to Chibodia. Chibodia is one of Lusaka's most notorious townships. It's for outsiders, it's a no-go area. But then Alexis and his team managed to go there and sensitize the community on the dangers of just throwing garbage anyhow and talking to them about recycling and so on. In the picture here is Amakio Banda, also another prominent Lusaka artist. This again is still during the same project. You can see the community in Chibodia there. And they also had some plants, which I believe were planted on this date. This was in 2011. Again, it was part of the Chibodia Goes Green. Yeah, and then he was also part of, with his Kachere Art Studio, they created a very monumental sculpture of an elephant in Livingstone during the UNWTO in 2013, I believe it was. So again, there they worked with the community and with artists. So they made this huge sculpture and filled it with garbage, just to make a statement on the importance of keeping the surroundings clean. Equally, he spearheaded the rhino sculpture, again, a similar project. They sensitized the community on how the importance of properly disposing of garbage. This one was, I believe, at the Long Acres roundabout, but currently it has, I think it's I don't know what's happening right now, but there's some construction going on. So hopefully it might be put aside, reinstated, or Mr. Piri will be coming on stage next, and he might be able to talk more about that. So thank you very much.
wow. I don't even know where to start from, actually. But I must say thank you very much for the invitation. Mr. Ambassador, Miko, and peers, welcome to Funda discussion, actually. And the people out there, nice feeling. Yeah, I haven't got much to say because a lot has been said already. But I would like to, we always thought that the first step to recycling should start with ourselves first, in our heads. Recycling first should start in our heads. I don't know about Europe, but here, I feel, where I come from in Katete, maybe it's much cleaner, but here in Longacres, here in Lusaka, in urban areas, I think recycling first we should first recycle our heads, then we understand the 4 T's maybe, and the trash movement. Anyhow, and it is very, very difficult, of course, because as it is now, we, the elder generation, it's really hard to get back to be taught new ways of living. So probably we can focus on the children. So talking about ourselves as Kachere Art Studio. So over the years, Kachere Art Studio is an established independent art entity under Kachere Limited, of course, supported by Orlando Travel and Tours. And we are affiliated to a Visual Art Council, National Art Council, and Zambia Climate Change Network. Hopefully they're still alive, active now. The studio was established and founded in 2004. Then I just retired from refugee work with the Red Cross. I had nothing to do, but we were together with Miko at college. As a journalism student, I'd find spending much more time with the Miko and team than the journalism courses in schools. I didn't know what that was going, where that was going to lead me to, but now it has manifested. I'm an artist. Yeah. So the studio was established in 2004. I've been concerned, of course, by the high rate of unemployment and rising numbers of school dropouts then, and the general degradation of our environment in our community. And from that view, Kachere Art Studio's vision was to stimulate the children, actually, the mothers. Isn't it, they say that you educate a mother, a woman, you educate the whole village, and we've seen it here in Longacres when we're building our rhino. Most of the people that were participating and spearheading the movement were the women marketeers. In fact, even the bankers, women, the women, the ladies working in the bank were very instrumental. So you educate one woman, you educate the whole community. And the mothers through art and education to make a new start by thinking green, clean green. Initially, we were at the backyard of our house in Olympia Park, and then we moved to a small village. We created a village in Chilanga, and that's where we are now. We have got a small secretariat in Kabedenga Road, near Levy Park there. Yeah, and our overall vision is, besides sustaining ourselves through art initiatives, of course, has over the time developed into generating a green generation, and we're happy that this is bearing fruits. Permanent secretary was here a couple of minutes ago, and he said that every month, I mean, this is a month, and there's going to be a national, each constituency in the country will have a cleanup. I must say, before we started, before we started doing the rhino, there was no cleanup, of course, but with the support of the late President Michael Sata, who was very instrumental actually in our activities and trying to clean our city. May soul rest in peace. He would send people, say, oh, encouraging us. And in fact, he even donated, well, not he donated, but we feel he donated because people came from State House and say, you know what, we have a small package for you. We have realized what you're doing. This is a small contribution from State House. Trash from State House, probably find a way to place it in your whatever in the rhino that you're making. And indeed, we're so happy, and we placed the trash from State House in a small horn. Yeah, very, very symbolic. Thank you, Michael Sata. And from that on, of course, small horn that you see there, up there, there's some trash from the house. And equally in Livingston, but I'll come to that one as well. Livingston also has some trash from four presidents. I think there were trash from Bill Clinton, who came to visit that time. George Bush came to visit, but trash from him. Mugabe, President Mugabe, trash from him. We had also trash from our own president as well. And the entire UN, WTO, most of the trash, some of the trash would bring them into the elephant. So, so generating a green generation, that's where I was. So we're happy that at least, in a small way, we've generated, the process of thinking green. And we pat ourselves at the back that we see that now we have activities like every month the city is being cleaned, and I'm sure it's slow. I mean, like I said earlier on, it starts with the recycling of our heads. I'm sure our heads now are recycled. We can see it. And of course, salute to our president, Edgar Chagwa, that is taking it up even further, that we're cleaning the cities. Thank you, Mr. President. And the studio was, of course, it is supported by great artists like Bona Kalulu and Quinton Allen, very prolific artist, very good with his painting of environment and the environment and the fauna and flora. I'm not English person, but Tango. Yeah, Ninya Marabu Tango. That's Quinton Allen. And of course, my good friend, David Bauchi, David Chiwa. Those are some of the people that come and help us to advise us on how to go about these things. And of course, when we want academic, so that we can sound a bit intelligent and intellectual, we come to our good friend, Mr. Mikol, and of course, the doctor in the making, very fundamental in our progress to where we are now. And of course, the Kachere Art Studio was, because we wanted to bring everybody on board, of course. We had a very special guy when we were launching it in Mundawanga, and that was Hamashot Siminga. And Hamashot Siminga is, I think is the first recipient of the 2007 Goldman Environmental Award, and the only National Geographic Society Emerging Explorer in Zambia, actually. He blessed us to be where we are now. And of course, in our own way, unique way, artists from connected to Kachere Art Studio have been instrumental in providing direction in holistic ways of environmental awareness and education approaches through art. And over the years, of course, Kachere Art Studio has exhibited and conducted environmental campaigns and climate change education at various national and local international events. Botswana, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Namibia, Malawi, Tanzania, the DRC, they know us all these places there. Mozambique too, yeah. And like Andu Mlenga rightly put it in 2011, Kachere Art Studio was participated in the Conference of Parties, COP17, UN Conference of Parties, of course, in Durban, South Africa, where the studio were part of the artists that laid the caravan of hope for Africa in telling the world the continent's environmental woes, such as e-waste, like Andrew has just alluded earlier, which is a big, big, big headache, actually. It's a time bomb because we don't even know what we're handling for all we know. Sad, that one. And of course, in 2013, of course, we were part of the team that made the elephant sculpture where, like I said, during the UNWTO, very exciting time, like told you that we had litter, which was being littered in Livingston by the presidents that I've just mentioned here. And from the time to standing, all the big stars that ever passed, we left the word that people should come and get anybody who comes in. I think there was Will Smith there. Someone told me, yeah, we got something from Will Smith, the bottle that he threw, we put it into the elephant, because as we realize that actually trash and the 40s it's a global problem, but in our own local way, that's how we trying to do whatever. It's funta, mad. We're not educated, but we do it in a mad way, and they call us funta. But the message is carried out. I'm sure it is. And then currently, the studio is on public environment and the climate change awareness campaign through a Funta project. Like I said, we've moved to Katete because Katete, Eastern Province, Eastern Province, actually, it's a time bomb. We're even lucky that we've got rains there. Actually. The rains are good this time around. God bless, maybe because we've got no planes in the air. There's no pollution in the air, so really the gods in the heavens have felt a bit lenient with us to give us a bit to demonstrate that, without you flying around near me here, I'll give you more rains. Of course, disasters to the floods. Yeah, but thank you very much. That this COVID has demonstrated that actually we're becoming a bit smart in the way we're looking at the environment. Everybody's in the corner that we're being responsible. I'm sure as we go, there'll be less and less travel. I'm sorry, we have to boost tourism. But I'm kind of enjoying it because, you know, it's we're breathing fresher air. We are more concerned, and our minds are being recycled, and we're becoming responsible. I think that's a plus. But of course, COVID is bad. Yeah. May the souls of all the party souls rest in peace, actually. I'm sure we should find the cure as soon as possible so that probably can get back to normal, charged with the awareness of how we can cope with our environment and bring it up. So these projects have been has seen the creation of this plastic in the statues, like we said, as a means of education and a demonstration that trash can be turned into treasures. And we discovered that the 4 T's actually. 1 T is turning, the second T is trash, the third T is tool, the fourth T is treasures. 4 T's. And these activities go along with the parallel education because we think that we box up also this with our education. You know, we feel that okay, we thank that we're educated, of course, but it's time also when we deal with this with the issue of trash that we should not take everything from the textbooks. You know, we can, you know, we should simulate ourselves to start thinking outside the box, you know, on how to handle these issues, and of course develop skills on how to clean or make artifacts or whatever. Yeah. So that's about all, and like we said, the statues we include the Livingston one and the Longacres rhino. Of course, this project requested that the traveling community, residents, schools bring plastic waste to the sites where even we had trash from the Italian schools. Actually, we had students from here that would come. We engaged some classes from here. I think here there used to be Ben Taylor Lawrence's kid. They used to come. The son used to come here, and David Chula's boy used to go to school. Together with his friends, they collected some plastic or the trash put into the rhino there. So we found that the rhino, the Longacres rhinos, it has trash from all over. Who would want to make a book probably, because everybody will be there actually. We had embassies, we had everybody, all the embassies in Lusaka, they had trash put into the rhino, into that rhino that you see there. The Danish embassy was there. Of course, it was we thank so much actually because it was created through the funding grant from CSEF, Civil Society Environment Fund, with the support from the Danish and the Finnish embassy. Thank you very much up to now, actually. And it's a pity to see it go down the way it is. And when the news hit us first were in Eastern Province, in Katete, in our studio there. They told us, oh, the rhinos down, they cut the trees. So what are you going to do? Are you going to stop them? We said, no. Well, we'll see who will engage, and we'll see who come. And we had a course from Andrew. I think he wrote something because he's been following it up, and a lot of other people, artists, were all in the morning. But then when we came, the last stroke was when they came and just bulldoze it out into, like, literally wanting to clear it and go into the dump site. But I say, you know what? That thing is a $30,000, $50,000 worth of piece. education that went through it, 1 year of education. You can't just throw it away just like that. I was so hurt to the point whereby, you know, I had to go on hunger strike, for God's sake. I was on hunger strike. I said, I'm going to be on hunger strike until the authorities come and explain to us now what the thing that they've done to this rhino. Global solution, global problem, local solution. Just trash it just like this. Until, of course, BBC caught wind of it and they came to interview us. They said, what is happening in your hunger strike? We've never seen Zambian artists go on hunger strike because of the work. I said, but you know what? It hurts us. You know, it's hurt because the energy that went into it, the education, especially the education, not so much of the object, but education that went with it. Like I said, everybody, Babak School, Kalingalinga School, the drug infested place like Chiwolia, everybody had a touch with Mr. Miko and his students. All the stuff is in there. Everybody is in there. I wish you could come up with a book and we could see those images actually. So that's prompted us to get into to go into hunger strike until the government and I'm happy actually. Thank you very much, the government. Deliver that, Mr. Permanent Secretary. We're happy that you've come on board to help us through, of course, because of probably the BBC story and other media sources that came to support us. They've come up with Ministry of Tourism and Art and Culture. They've come and said, oh, we're going to help you to rebuild it. But I said, well, I mean, this thing is expensive to build. I said, no, we're going to help you. How we're still trying to find out on how we're going to rebuild it. But we thought ourselves that to resuscitate thing was killed. And anything that is killed, for those people, for the loved ones that remain behind, usually they put up a memorial or place, remind them that this is what went on. So, but this time around we thought, well, I mean, this time? Thank you. Well, I'm not the narrator, so when you say, I get distracted. So, but we said, you know, we're going to put it in bronze there. So the bronze is going to be the casket and the material, because we can't, that energy, we can't have it anymore. We can't cultivate that. And first Republican president, I mean, President Michael Sata is dead. The trash is State House trash is there, and many other trash. All the people that have contributed, the trash is there. We can't just go and trash it out there. So we said, no, we're going to make the cast bronze and have it like the casket. We'll put the rhino into that one, lock it up, and have it permanently to remind us about the dangers, or the dangers of recycling, the dangers of trash, the dangers, and of course highlighting the dangers of wildlife. I mean, already we have. It's a pity the way we are killing senselessly, poaching our animals. Partly we're not to blame as Africans. It's a global problem. Libido, part of it, and many more. I don't blame anybody, but that's it. So, but I hope it will be a big reminder to us, the rhino, when we cast it into bronze. We have a budget of it. We don't have the money, but we hope when we come, we'll put it through, we'll put our minds together, of course. Mr. Miko here, Mr. Mulenga here will come and knock to the Italian embassy, will come and our other embassies, the British embassy, the Chinese embassy, and the people that are listening there, so that we see how we can create this bronze, first of its kind, probably in Africa, so that it can be a reminder of the ills of plastic and highlighting the plight of animals in the forest and in the bush. Basically, that's what I want to say. And in conclusion, of course, it's our humble wish that through our activities, the society response. Of course, we're going to come to you and thank you, Mr. Ambassador, that we didn't know that we were going to have the permanent secretary of housing and who are the custodians of land around. We're going to come to you so that actually we ask some places so that we create them as green spots where we can come and sit there and we see how we can start thinking green. Yeah, especially the Longacres Park. Yeah, we'll come to you. Thank you. To respond positively, to think green, clean green, and to inspire ourselves to conserve nature and protect our environment. Of course, we're happy and pleased that our efforts were recognized, and in a small way, in 2016, the Zambia Environmental Management Agency awarded us with a small award of activism, which we salute, but want to see them do more also, Zema. We are crying and are nowhere to be seen. Please come and comfort us. We're crying. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
You do the now the. You want to show? Yes. Oh, you can see. You explain. Good.
I think PS and the guests, you have seen how us who are involved with the arts, we tend to think far beyond than ourselves. And I actually think that at the same time that government is busy addressing some of our problems in the communities, such as building schools and clinics, we should also start thinking of either building areas where we can store our garbage creatively or create incinerators. Because for every yeah, live on there. For every clinic that we build, we should, if we had incinerators, we will probably even reduce the traffic of sick people at going to these clinics. So it is a very serious issue that we need to address. And we are really grateful that the cooperation that the embassy, through Your Excellency, is offering, working with the various groups, like for instance, Ledgway Trust has been in the arts for quite a long time, and you afforded us a chance to come and display and mobilize artists and artworks from the collection. This is the way forward. We need to educate our upcoming generations that the management of our trash is very, very important. And us in the creative sector, we are actually offering that, please allow us to be able to provide certain solutions from the way we think about art and the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Please, you can explain? Can we see the video? But we cannot show it. Maybe we show you see now that the electricity will come back. So okay. So thank you very much. I would like to thank very much, first of all, William, for your lecture, for your explanation. I want to thank very much Andrew Mulenga. It was a beautiful presentation, and you helped us to meet a young artist, young Piri. I would call him young Piri because we have another Piri. So to distinguish, I would say the young Piri. So two Piri artists, young Piri. I find very inspiring his work, beautiful art pieces. And in a way, being an artist, using the materials he was showing, that how it's also possible to utilize for example, e-waste, no? And so it's also symbolic because with the e-waste you can create new things. And so, as it was recalled, we can transform trash into cash. And it was very, very inspiring. I want to thank very much Alexis Piri for his contribution. I think that we were very much helped in having the PS with us today because, as we said, we need to work all together for our communities to raise awareness, because the first step, as you said, Alexis, we have to recycle our mind first. So we have to change our mindset. And that's why we will involve families and children, because all of us, we need to change our mind so that we understand that it is a common responsibility. And it's also, I think, very important that the dialogue is maintained between the institutions and the artists, because the artists also always have a vision forward, and they contribute with their messages to raise awareness and to create awareness also in the institutions and in the public opinion. I found very interesting because the COP17 was mentioned. The COP is the Conference for the Protection of the Environment, and Italy this year is holding the chairmanship, the presidency of COP26 together with the UK. And we also have the presidency of the G20, which is dedicated this year to people, planet, prosperity. So I think that there are all the elements of our 3 days festival, also from our G20 presidency, in our also in our team and in our effort here together with you in Zambia. I think that the Rhino project is really beautiful. It's very symbolic. I was really impressed, by your passion about the project, and I'm sure that the local authorities will support, and together also with us, with the cooperating partners, to make sure that it will be preserved, newly preserved. I was talking about the institutions, and His Excellency the President, Edward Chawa Lungu, was mentioned because he's the head of the government, the head of the nation. And I just want to acknowledge and inform all of us that we have the pleasure to have with us his son, Mr. Daliso Lungu. Welcome with us. We are very happy, very honored that you are here with us. Now I will proceed with the award, William, because this is also a very important moment of our event. I already share with all our guests and our friends your life and artistic experience. I would like to remember that you are a major exponent of the visual arts in Zambia. As I said, you were involved in many projects. You contributed in an immense way to the Lecce Trust and the Lecce Trust Gallery. You are an artist yourself, and so you, with your work, with your inspiration, with your ideas, you contributed to the cultural treasury of this country. As I said, William, this decoration comes to you because you really deserve it. You really deserve it because I think today was chosen as the most appropriate day because we can see your contribution in a very concrete way, because it is thanks to you. If we can see this beautiful exhibition here at the Zambian Italian Cultural Center, you show some of the art pieces. I hope that we will be able to spread the information that these art crafts are here for till all the weekend and will be seen. You always cooperate with us. I would like to recall our beautiful project about Leonardo da Vinci last year. It was a project we did in presence because it was pre-COVID area, but also now with all our activities, and we are really thankful. As I said, you are our hero, William. You always contribute in a fantastic way, and I'm really pleased to bestow onto you now the Italian award, Knight of the Italian Star, Cavaliere della Stella d'Italia. I'll show also to our friends the decoration also online. And we put also the pin. Yeah. And the diploma that we can show first online. Let me, yes, yeah, like this, and of course to all our friends. Ludovico, c'è bisogno di foto? Yeah, together with you. Facciamo una senza la maschera di William. We already tested the negative, so we can do it. Thank you, William. Yes. Let's show the video, and then William will say a few words. Yes. Yes. Come. Very.
Yeah,
very
when after the video.
No, let's take a picture now with that.
Okay.
No, with the PS standing here with us. Huh? What do you say? What do you say, Ludovico? We do it. Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much. Okay, now we will show the video, and then.
My name is William Valiamiko. I am an artist and I also curate artwork. We are here at the Zambia Italian Cultural Center, where there is a 3-day festival addressing various issues concerning the pollution of our environment through the trash of things that we use, such as plastics, metal, or various other organic or non-organic objects that we throw away. Basically, we are carrying out a webinar discussion, which I will chair on Friday the 26th here, and that will be broadcast online to around the world. And what we have done as Zambian artists is a contribution of showcasing how these thrown away materials tend to be recreated into some aesthetic objects such as art. For instance, if you look at the beautiful, outstanding guitar here, it's made out of scrap metal, and these are pieces of bicycle. And if you go into the intricate of its assemblage by the artist Shakulipa, you can see that things that should have been thrown away and polluting the environment have been pieced together into another form where it's going to stand aesthetically to please the eye when you look at it. When you look at the pieces by Gift Nondo, like the COVID shape, that is just masks and things pertaining to our new normal today, which have been collected together to make a statement on what mankind is facing around the world today. I think the most important thing is to be able to create a forum for the creative people like artists. For instance, like what Lechwe Trust does to support the growth of the arts. And if an opportunity like incorporating art in every aspect of our lives, like for instance, the Italian embassy has decided that they cannot hold this conference on trash and transformation into art without having the artists and art objects around. That's the way to promote. And in fact, when we are discussing things like this on webinar, it means that we are becoming a part of the global world in addressing the issues of pollution and recycling of material.
We have a live performance. William, let's come here so that you show and explain. Come.
Yes. I wanted the ones online to see.
Huh? Yes, sorry.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, maybe we can, yeah. The ones are online, then we can go there.
No, let's stay online.
Yes. Yeah. Your Excellency, this is very humbling. I would like to dedicate this award to the people that have been supporting the arts, the artists themselves, my colleagues who are discussants on this panel. That's why when you asked me to give a lecture, I thought that it would be best to incorporate other colleagues in bringing up forward what we have been doing as artists in this country to address the issue of trash transformation into something valuable that we can live with. And I would also like to support those, to dedicate this award to those collectors and promoters of the arts in Zambia, because I strongly believe this is one aspect that we need to exert our effort on. Artists always live in the future. So some of the problems we face today, they might have a solution, one or two, to offer. And I have this poncho. I think a poncho is a South American name, which I suppose should be Italy. So I made this poncho out of the saline that I was using when I came out of hospital. My amputation due to sugar is just less than 6 months when I had it. And when this saline that was intravenously being injected, bottles were used, I was quite hesitant to throw them away. I kept them. And when I heard about this, I started piecing it together, and it is a beautiful jacket. It's now a piece of art, which would have been polluting the environment. So for me, this is my other contribution, that when I'm receiving the Star of Italy medal, specifically at the time of addressing the plastics and trash, I'm wearing this poncho, which is going to stay forever as an artwork. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Gracias. Gracias.
Gracias. William, you always surprise us, and rightly so. You confirm your artistic spirit also on this occasion. I find it a beautiful and extraordinary symbolic art piece, because combines your passion for art, your passion for life, because we all know what you went through, and your creativity, your ability to even transform objects that remind a moment of difficulty in objects that will always remember your passion, as I said, for life, for your artistic engagement, and for your contribution to the civil society. So it's a beautiful gift that you bring to our event. I could not think of a better idea to close our 3 days festival. And I want to thank you very much, William. And I want to thank all our friends that followed us online. I want to thank all our friends. I'm so happy to see you numerous here with social distance, numerous, and mask. And for us who are here now, we will proceed to have some refreshments to continue to celebrate you, William, and all of us. I will just ask you if we can take another picture with the permanent secretary.
Thank you.
And thank you again for everything.
Thank you.